Thank you so much, Naomi. We're now entering our second hour of candidate interview night, and with it comes the first of our full-time officer debates. Candidates will have a chance to battle it out against each other over 15 minutes of questions from our URY interviewers. You can message us your questions or just tweet your thoughts at URY News using the hashtag #YUSUElections. We'll be asking the questions you want answering. First up, it's over to Peter, who'll be chairing the Activities Officer debate.
Candidate Interview Night 2016.
Student Activities Officer, Candidates Debate.
The YUSU Activities Officer is the first of the sabbatical positions to be debated tonight. This position emphasises the continued support and development of the extracurricular here at York. We have Peter Rogers chairing the debate with your candidates Golfo Migos, Lucas, Dom Ehlert, Charlie Chaz Watkins, Alex Lusty and Heather Kelly. Let's hear about the activities role and what it entails.
Candidate Interview Night 2016.
Student Activities Officer.
The Student Activities Officer supports the development of extracurricular activities among students, including societies, events and volunteering.
And thank you. Yes, we are joined for the activities debate. Unfortunately, Golfo Migos could not be with us tonight. She has sent us a statement. She says, I'm sorry I couldn't be there tonight, but I'm across the road in the drama barn in the week 6 show of Spring Awakening, and unfortunately it overlaps with debates. She says you can still find my manifesto on the YUSU website and find my Facebook page online to find out about me and my policies. I'm really excited to be running for Activities Officer and really look forward to bumping into some of you across campus. But in the studio, we do have Dom Ehlert, Alex Lusty, Charlie Watkins, Lucas North and Heather Kelly. How are you guys this evening?
Yeah, doing good.
Yeah, very good, thank you.
Yeah, nice to be here. Thanks very much.
Now, why don't we start by give us a quick 30 seconds about who you are and what you think your most important policy is.
Cool beans. Shall I kick off? Fantastic. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Dom Ehlert, I'm afraid to say, not Ehlert. I'm running to be YUSU Student Activities Officer. I'm a third-year law student, but I'm heavily involved with a comedy society, and I've performed and been on that society. Biggest things that I'm going for, they'd have to be, I want to make a bigger and better RAG. We heard from a RAG officer candidate earlier on this evening. I want to have a bigger and better RAG. I want to campaign for a dedicated YUSU event space that we can use. I'd really want one of those as well. And then I'm going to have to stop 30 seconds.
Brilliant. Alex?
Well, hi, yeah, I'm Alex Lusty. No issues with the name there, bang on. I'm a third-year history student. I study history, and I'm editor of the Lemon Press. My main policies are introducing a society card, so something similar to a sports card that would get you guys money off in clubs and in town, but also as important is introducing bespoke society sponsorship by working with the York Chamber of Commerce. I think that can really drive self-sustainability and can really help to improve the running of societies.
Brilliant. Charlie.
Thank you, Alex. I'm Charlie Watkins. Thank you also for calling me Chaz. Thank you for that. I'm a social sec for lacrosse and also a member of Crimsock. My main policy probably is to be building on the current YUSU app by adding a sort of regularly updating uni-wide social event calendar. So basically, you know what's going on around you the whole time. Obviously, it'll be catered to all societies and can be tailored to you as an individual with reminders and alerts and stuff. Thank you.
Thank you. Lucas.
I'm Lucas, and I'm asking you to hashtag celebrate the North so that I can deliver an increased community spirit for all of the students at URY by creating a themed dress-up day each month and encouraging students to take part by rewarding it.
Thank you. And Heather.
Hiya, I'm Heather Kelly. I'm a third-year history student, and I'm also running for activities. My main policies are the full revival of YUSU RAG, a better promotion of volunteering, a better support for societies. My main two other policies are also to create an online tutorial space where we can show people how to do EMS, room bookings, that kind of thing, and also an online RAG totaliser so colleges can compete a little bit more and see exactly how much they've raised for their charities.
Brilliant. And that was one of the things I really wanted to talk about. Now we get into it, is RAG. Because a number of you mentioned RAG. What do you do with RAG? Do students at York even want to do RAG?
Well, sorry, sharing microphones is very hard. I think it's not so much they don't want to do it. I think it's that they just don't know enough about it. Like, I think if you asked a lot of students on campus what RAG was, especially some of the freshers, I don't think they'd be able to tell you. So I think the key to RAG is promoting it and promoting it as an extremely important part of extracurricular activity because it's such a beneficial event, sort of raising and giving scheme.
Like if I may say, I think that's a really good point. We do need to make sure that RAG has a bigger profile on campus. I think a fair few people know what it is, but they don't know how to get involved, which is again one of the reasons why I'm quite keen on having RAG events on and around campus, all sizes, all kinds, is because to get involved with RAG, it has to be something you want to do. And at the moment, I don't know if RAG offers every kind of activity for what students want to get involved with.
Well, I think that's just systematic of a larger problem with RAG. So you look at it now, and there's no real overarching structure to it. A lot of it's quite ad hoc. I mean, it doesn't even have its own constitution at the moment. I think really RAG needs to have that kind of structure in place. It needs to be reorganised so we can really get the best out of everyone who is giving up their time to raise money.
I think it's important to reintegrate the college RAG reps with the main committee, because I know college RAG reps have a really good relationship with their colleges as a whole, and that's a really good way of managing to access individual students rather than just getting lost in the student body as a whole. I think one of the best things about RAG is you can literally make anything a RAG event. If you enjoy comedy, make it a RAG event. You enjoy sports, make it a RAG event. So there's no excuse really for RAG to not be a huge part of campus, and this is something I think should really be pushed in the next year.
I totally agree with you, and actually from my personal experience it can be quite difficult to get in touch with RAG and use the proper channels. So every year the Lemon Press does an event, Prestival, and we thought it's always a total failure, shambolic. We thought it'd be nice to do a comedy auction, something a bit funny, a bit light-hearted, and give the proceeds to charity. So I tried to get in touch with the RAG reps, and it was very difficult. Okay. We had no progress.
Lucas, you're a first year. Is RAG a presence? What would you do to make RAG more of a presence?
Yeah, so I think there are a lot of students that want to get involved in RAG. I think we've had some very good points. One of the things I want to do to make RAG more accessible and volunteering in general is to spread events across both campuses so that students who maybe only have an hour or two a day, especially HESI students who only perhaps have an hour at a time, don't have to spend half of that travelling in order to help out. Because I think a lot more students would give their hour of time if they could spend the entire hour on their campus being able to do it. I think too much happens exclusively on HES West, and I think we need more to spread out, and that will just drive involvement completely.
Okay, thank you. We'll move away from RAG now and talk about something that's actually been on campus news a lot recently. Should YUSU, and this is something you'll have to deal with as an activities officer, should YUSU be able have the power to censor campus media?
No, they shouldn't. The freedom, what a society is, the media societies here, what they are, they've all come together to do what they like. And when you look at all the kind of media society we've got going on, we've got URY, our YSTV, all the press, got Lemon Press as well, everyone. It seems the opposite of what YUSU's meant to be doing if they wade in and say stop.
Does anyone have an opposite view, contrary view to that?
Not necessarily contrary, but I think as an editor I can bring some experience here. And I think obviously the press should not be restricted in any way, but YUSU does have a role to play. So I think the way we treat it at the Lemon Press is as an extra editing level. So while investigative stories should never, ever, ever be stifled, I think that there is a role there to prevent things like libel, to really deal with a lot of those legal issues. And I think in that case it is justified. But with respect to what we're talking about, and with freedom of the press, I don't think YUSU should be getting involved. YUSU needs to be held to account, and Vision, News, and to a lesser extent the Lemon Press do really drive that.
So then what form of restriction would that take from YUSU? I mean, anyone's welcome to come in here. If it's not being sort of looked through, if the article's not being looked through before it's published, what sort of restriction should YUSU have over the media?
I mean, sorry, if you guys want to speak, go ahead. But I don't think there is a form of restriction that YUSU should take. If there's going to be any sort of regulation, it needs to be inside the media societies, and that sort of conversation needs to happen. But I don't think it's antithetical to what YUSU's meant to be, to censor the societies that they're enabling. It just doesn't make sense. We're not here to stop.
Yeah, I mean the whole point of societies is for people to express what they're passionate about, and if YUSU is stopping that, then they're kind of basically contradicting what they're all about.
Well, developing on from one of the points raised, I think YUSU should definitely be able to step in and say, no, you can't print this, because a lot of the time that this is brought up, free speech is quoted, but the right to free speech is not the right to a platform. And I think realistically, if this is a university environment, people live here, for many people this is their home, and we shouldn't risk that campus media will print derogatory stories about people, or will, potentially say things that make people feel uncomfortable where they live. I think there needs to be a level where USU can step in, whether it's editorial control to just say, no, this article gets rejected, or perhaps a stronger media charter just to put safeguards in place. I think safeguards are needed.
I think on that aspect, I think obviously things that are like wildly offensive and things should never be published in that kind of sense. But in things that are more controversial, I think university is the perfect place for ideas and debates to happen. If you can't have it at university, I'm not quite sure where you can. So I think in this aspect, there should be, say a vaguely controversial subject was to come up, but publish both sides so that you having an interesting debate and people can see both sides of the story, so that is getting put across, that you can still have a healthy debate, but then nobody's getting offended because you've got both sides of the story and you're getting a level
100% agree. Yeah, 100% agree.
Okay, so to prevent this controversial, any offensive material going out, would you all still be reviewing the editions of Noose and Vision and the Lemon Press before they get published?
Yes, it has to be looked at. You have to ensure that that ultimately you don't print anything libelous, because as much as we would like to say that it does involve us and it's our work, and we are very proud of it, the axe falls on USU's head. And that's not to say, again, I really want to emphasise this, it's not to say we should stifle the press, it's just basic legal controls that are very important.
Yeah, I do agree with Alex there.
I think, again, it's just the issue is, like, no one here is suggesting that any form of regulation should allow derogatory stuff to go out. No one's going to allow defamation. But I think there needs to be a very, very delicate balance struck between USU control and society autonomy. And I think that's just something you can apply in general to everything. And I think you have to be very deliberate with what you do and very careful.
Okay, unless anyone has any more comments on media issue, we'll move on. Now, another thing that pops up in a lot of your manifestos is this idea of room space and creating more rooms. Charlie, it's something you mention. Is the university not just full? I mean, is there just no more space? And you say, how would you just create space?
Well, I mean, you can't say the uni's full. I mean, as Lucas said, Hes East is quite underused, and so if you're going to do anything, obviously you create it over on Hes East. But it's all about also creating a varied, not only just creating the amount of space, but also making sure that space adheres to every single society, because they need different kinds of spaces to go about what they're passionate about. Some need large areas, some need lecture type theatres. Yeah.
No, I agree actually, because I think that's one of the things I'm saying as well. I'm actually going to try and campaign for a dedicated USU space that belongs to students, because if you look around, it's very, very clear that the university is developing. We've got new builds on Hes East, new builds on Hes West. I think it's absolutely ludicrous to suggest that the university isn't planning on building more in the very near future. Recent Russell Group University, getting more and more people in. I had a friend who didn't believe that we had 18k students here. Apparently that was a lot in comparison to what he has at his institution. So I think it's like maybe a bit naive to think that the university isn't going to be developing. And in campaigning for more space that belongs to students, you get this kind of like this double-sided effect where in the long term, brilliant, we get a student-owned space. But in the short term, we keep student extracurricular interests at the forefront of the university discussions for development, and you keep student interests there.
I mean, yeah, I would. No, Alex, go first. Go
I want to add to that. I think it is also important that we do impose organisation on this. My policy there is that I want to have a web page on the USU website listing all the skills and equipment that each society has. So that way we can organise the space, but we can also facilitate exchange and interchange between societies, so everyone knows what everyone has, and everyone can really use the skills and equipment that the university has to the maximum.
Equally.
Can I bring up to Heather? Yeah.
I think it might be full, but look at room bookings. Are those bookings actually being used when a society is booked in at a certain point? Is it being used every time? So that way, we are using the space that we do have smartly, and for storage space as well is something that also needs to be used smartly. Even if it is something as small as like the porter cabin type things that are behind the gym on Hes West, that kind of thing is a good temporary measure to be able to store equipment in. Things like that, I think we just need to use it smartly. at the very least.
Lucas?
Yeah, and with using space smartly, I think there are so many empty rooms in the university. I think it's just a problem that everyone tries to go for the better known ones. So the physics exhibition centre, that's always getting used. Like, I think most of the rooms in there are pretty much block booked. But, for example, in Old Goodrick, in all the maths rooms, like loads of them are always empty. You can just walk in, find an empty room. And I think more awareness of what space the university has and what we can provide would be a way around that. Just letting people book different rooms rather than all trying to get the same one.
Yeah, I think there are problems with when rooms are open and when porters can be in blocks to man rooms. Would any of you want to have a look at the room booking system itself?
Yeah, I think...
Go, Alex, please.
Cheers. No, I think we can all sort of agree that Plan On really isn't fit for service. Like, I was talking to my friend Zach Khan, he's head of concert orchestra. He just doesn't think it's fit for purpose. And especially when you've got such a big society, you need something that runs efficiently, you need something that runs cleanly. And Plan On at the moment is like something out of the 1990s. It's almost unusable.
You're just like dialing it in with like Morse code.
To defend room booking though, literally yesterday I was in a bit of a state of panic. I had to book a room for lacrosse. And it was like at least 70 of us, and I called them up on the day, and I said, do you have any free rooms for about 70 people? And they said to me, they were like, we'll have a look, see what we've got. And they got back to me within an hour, said, these 2 rooms are free, which one of them?
Brilliant. Okay, we're just coming up right to the end now, so I'm going to ask you for a very quick few seconds on why people should vote for you.
Vote for Dom if you want someone who's going to campaign for student interests in the short term, the long run, have big events, and just be someone you can come and have a chat to.
Alex.
But Alex Lusty, I've got experience with running large societies. I know what you guys want. I know how USU works. So please vote for me so we can really kickstart activities and get lusty with activities.
I'm an experienced guy. I'm all about making your uni life easier and basically making it a positive experience. And just know that anytime you come talk to me with an issue, that Chazman can.
So our students should celebrate the North because I've already jumped straight in. I'm ready to go even further, and I just want to increase achievement and the help that we can give to everyone.
You should vote for me because I have experience in RAG and volunteering. These are the areas that really need reviving, and I'm aware of how to do this and how to do this best through helping societies and helping RAG and volunteering. So make sure you be clever, vote Heather.
Thank you to all our candidates.
Candidates interview night.